All beef patty, special sauce, lettuce, cheese. Hey, good morning, good afternoon, and good night, wherever you are viewing OnSong from. Wow. If you heard that earlier, if you heard that song earlier, we were testing on YouTube. We are doing something brand new today, and we are going live on YouTube as well as our normal Facebook. But we were testing earlier, and we didn't know we were testing live. So we were singing and doing some fun stuff. So if you heard the all beef patty, special sauce, lettuce, cheese song, then you were privy to some nice.
Yeah, give us a shout out. You saw the live, all the action. Actually, not all the action. Yeah. We had like a lot of our staff in the other room because we have to get prepared for the live stream. But hopefully soon we don't have to do as much of that.
No,
because we are working on a new office space, so we'll have a better live space that we can come live
within the month.
Within the month
Of June.
So we just got to get things like the internet worked out and stuff. But also today, because all of our YouTube friends saw us for 15 minutes, you may have discovered that we were trying something new, which is YouTube Live as well. So you may be watching us on Facebook, you might also be watching us on YouTube, and you're doing it all together. So we're going to try our best to answer comments from both platforms. It's a big step because it's usually just tough to keep up with just the Facebook comments. But today we're doing live Q&A again because I think we continue to have so many questions that came in. So we want to definitely give you an opportunity to ask anything of us, hopefully OnSong related, and we'll answer your questions.
Yeah, so hit us up on Facebook Live, YouTube with your comments, and we will get to them. And we have a couple questions to get us started here for Jason. And after that, we'll get to your questions as soon as we possibly can. All right? So you ready?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, here we go. Andreas says, I'm currently having problems with international characters.
Yeah.
They turn into something weird and unreadable instead of what they should be. The problem occurs after the text are imported into OnSong. They are text files created on my PC, just as I've always done.
Yes, so we are looking into that pretty much right before this live stream. We were looking into it. It appears that something is happening between Dropbox and Mac-based products. So we had somebody share their Dropbox folder with us. We were able to see the file on Dropbox that had the proper characters. And when we download it to a Mac, lo and behold, the Mac is not reading it correctly. It's seeing the characters as being incorrect and things like that. So we are looking into how to resolve that right now. So hopefully we'll get that resolved in the next update. We are planning an update here before the end of June, definitely. So we do have a number of things that we've been working on. And so if you want to see what we've been up to, just go to onsongapp.com/releases and you'll see all the bugs that we've been fixing and some of the nice things that we're adding too. So I think you'll like some of the things. Not too many things. We're just trying to make sure that we keep things running because we have a bigger release in the works for later this year.
Okay, multiple people have sent in this question. What happened to console for Mac and why can't I download it in my country?
Well, I think that's a good segue into something that just happened on Monday. Okay, so Monday, and the reason why, and hopefully these all go together, but Apple has been rumored for a long time to be coming out with a project that was called Project Marzipan, but on Monday at the Worldwide Developer Conference for Apple, they announced something called Project Catalyst. And what this is going to allow us to do, now it's going to be some work, I don't know what the time frame is on this, it's definitely going to be later this year, but Project Catalyst will allow iOS apps to be compiled or built to run on Macs. And so the reason why we discontinued OnSong Console for a couple reasons. One, as Mac OS updates were coming out, some things were breaking. Two, the developer that was working on that is no longer with us. I think he's still alive, but he had some personal issues, and so he moved on. So we couldn't really update the product much further, and being that we could bring a full version of OnSong to Mac, we figured it would be better to wait to see what Apple did in that regard. And it does look like that is coming in the fall with Mac OS Catalina. So hang in there. I think we're going to be working over the summer checking this out and seeing if we can build OnSong and get it running for Mac OS later.
Okay, we got our first one off the Facebook.
Nice.
Desiree says, can OnSong be associated with SongShow Plus?
Well, we do have a song. You can import SongShow Plus, I believe, into OnSong. So if you're not able to do that for some reason, I think the file extension is .ssp. So SongShow Plus, you should be able to import that into OnSong. Now, OnSong will take that file and convert it into a text-based file that works in OnSong. So if you're having any problems with that, please let us know. What was the question one more time, just to make sure I answered it properly?
Can OnSong be associated with SongShow Plus?
Yeah, so I think, I don't know, if that answers your question, great. If not, hey, ask another question and maybe provide some more details and we'll try to get back to you on that. But yeah, you should be able to open up SongShow Plus files in OnSong.
Okay, here we go. This has to do with libraries. Can you create a song that contains photos to use for breaks? And can you replace lyrics with photos during a pre-recorded lead on your tracks? Question mark.
Oh, that's a good question. So you can do that. So OnSong, some of you know, has lyrics projection. That's what we call it. And so you can connect a projector, an HDTV, anything like that onto your iPad. You could do it like we're doing it right here today, where we are using AirPlay to send you the screen. That's on the iPad. We're beaming that wirelessly to an Apple TV, as you can see here. But we have something turned on called screen mirroring mode. So you would want to use lyrics projection mode, which is the default option. So let's say we're taking a look at the song. By the way, we're looking at all the songs we have are songs that have been submitted by OnSong users. These are all original songs, which is awesome. You can check them out on the OnSong website. Give them some love. But here we have a song. If I tap on the TV icon in the menu bar right there, this is our lyrics projection mode. Now you can see right now we just have a color and what we call an overlay, which kind of adds that black gradient in there. So we could toggle that gradient on and off just by tapping over here. You can also pick a different gradient if you tap and hold, but we're not going to worry too much about that. But you can also pick a picture. So if I tap right next to that, we go to the Choose Media bucket, I guess would be the best way to put it. Choose Media screen, and then we can add media just like this. So if I come in here to Dropbox, let me just scroll down. I think I have a folder called Background Media right here. And then this is an older video that we shot a couple of years back, which is just really cool slow-mo of a band setting up. And then it puts it in here to my media picker. And then if I pick it, if I choose it, you can see it then live updates my lyrics, but also the screen preview. And you'll see that overlay, that gradient is also still there. So I could turn that off if you wanted to see the full video without any interruption. But you can see that kind of makes the lyrics hard to see. Now, if you want to kind of just switch to a video, you can see right below the preview, we have lyrics with a background. You can see it's kind of shaded to indicate that there's a background. So we can just tap the second button, and that's just going to show the video without any lyrics on it. So now, when you import media like this to be played through lyrics projection, it is going to automatically repeat that video over and over again, just loop it. And it is also going to mute the volume. So there are some ways that if you wanted the video to play with volume, I'll show you how to do that real quick. And I'm also going to touch on something called scenes, because that might be also what you're looking to do if you want to kind of switch between showing lyrics and then showing a specific video, okay? But I want to show you quick how to set up your video to play volume. So if I tap and hold on this picture icon, I open up that Choose Media screen again. And then I could tap and hold on the actual preview in this screen for a couple seconds. There we go, and you'll see I'll get a little menu. It's actually really long because we allow drag and drop to reorder anything that you put into this media picker. But if I tap on Edit here, I get a menu that comes up, and down at the bottom I have a volume option. You can see that the volume has been muted. So we can just hit, I think minus will take you right to 100%. And I can also turn repeat on and off. I can have the video automatically play or not, allowing you to control that with, let's say, a foot pedal. There's an action to start the media. And then we can also slow or speed up the playback of that video with that playback thing right here. I can kind of speed it up or slow it down. But since it's already in slow-mo, we don't have to worry about that. And then we can hit close, and let's just turn that on again. Here, pick it. There we go. And I don't know if you're getting audio with that or not. Yep, Dakota's bobbing his head, so that probably means yes. So you can see that you can also play audio with that as well. So I'm going to turn that off because obviously you're going to have a hard time listening to me with that going on. There we go. We're just going to mute it, close it. Let's just turn it on again. Ding. How's that? No more music? Okay, great. So that's great, but the problem is that you're working inside that menu, trying to do that all live, right? And so that's going to be a little bit tricky to do all that. So you can use something called scenes. So if I tap on the gear icon in my menu bar here to open up the utilities menu, I can go to editors right here. And then I can go to scenes right here. And what scenes are, scenes is an add-on, okay? So just keep that in mind. It's a $10 add-on. It's meant to do two things. One is that you can use it to control DMX stage lighting or smart lights, which a lot of people say, well, I'm not gonna use that. But one of the really cool features is that you can create a scene that has a video, or background video and color and all that stuff, and then you can assign that scene to a specific section of your song. So let's say when you go from the verse to the chorus, you can automatically change to the video that you want to play for the chorus, or maybe a background graphic that's behind your lyrics. You can kind of decide how you want it to work. So what I would do here is tap on the plus button down below and add a new scene. It doesn't matter what you call it. We can call it different video, right? Just to be totally creative. And over here on the right hand side, you'll see a change media piece of text. And if we tap on that, now we get our choose media, our media picker screen. And I can add, let's say, another video in here, or maybe let's just do a regular graphic. Let's see if we can find something like maybe an images file or pictures or something like that. La la la. I just recently organized everything, so they're probably all gone. So, yeah, I don't know. Videos, what's in videos? Who knows? Oh, here's an old video. Here's our 15-second bumper from way back when. Let's just import that. It's like huge, though. We'll do the low-res bumper just to make it happen faster. All right, so we just imported a new video. I can just tap on it and hit close, and now that's going to be... Hold on, let me hit that again. That should then be my media for that scene. Let me hit done here. Huh. Well, there we go. I don't know, something maybe with that video. So you can see here you can assign media to a particular scene. You can also set the background color. That, so the background color of our lyrics projection was teal before. You probably want to set that maybe to black. That way if you fade the video in and out, you have a nice black screen. So I'm just going to set that to the blackout sequence. The other cool thing you can do is with scenes, you can actually create kind of like what's called a sequence. So you can fade between colors over time. And you can do that and apply that to your lyrics projection as well. You can also choose your overlay color, which we're still going to want maybe black for that if we're going to use an overlay, and your overlay style, which we're going to set to none. And most of this, if you don't set it, it's just going to use whatever the previous setting was. So keep that in mind. If you, let's say you're like switching this stuff up, you want all your scenes to be configured to set the overlay and all that stuff the way you want it to be, so that way it doesn't keep what was previous in a previous scene. Does that make sense? So if, let's say, a previous scene sets the background color to pink, and then you don't want it to be pink, you need to explicitly set it to something else, or else it'll stay pink. Does that make sense? So then when we hit done, now we have this other scene in here. You can preview it. You'll see that the video plays. You see it plays kind of in the middle. That's because you might have other lights going on and stuff like that. But anyway, you can come in here, tap and hold on a section. You have a scenes tab, and then you can assign that section to that scene. And so when you select that, that's what's going to be showing up in your lyrics projection then. Whew. Does that make sense? That was a big one. That was a big one. What was that, the second question?
That was a big one.
Ooh. Hey, we got a question over here on YouTube.
There you
First
go.
question on YouTube Live.
Ever.
So,
Historic moment.
Well, no, we shouldn't say ever. There's a lot of people that were commenting on how exciting our accidental live stream was earlier in the day.
This is the official first comment.
This is the official one, yeah. So, how can I insert my lyrics and chord sheet display a document like a small note sheet? All right, so I think what you might be asking for is like, how can I take maybe like a photo or a picture that shows like here's what I need to play and paste it somewhere. I think that's maybe what you're asking. We are working on rewriting our annotations engine, and one of the main things that we want to do is the ability not just to put photos, kind of like how sticky notes works now, but able to take different, we call it clips, so that's what we're kind of working on, and just put that clip in there and drag it where you want it. And so if you have maybe a lead that you want to play, some guitar tab, a drawing, you can just kind of put that in there right now. I would say right now the best way to do it is probably with a drawing tool, or if you can type it out in a sticky note. That's really all we have right now. But one of the things that we want to do with clips is kind of expand it beyond just pictures that you can import, and be able to put different notation and stuff like that in there. But yeah, that's something that definitely we want to add here shortly.
All right, Gunter, his question: I would like to control an SPD-SX sampling pad via MIDI from my mobile phone via OnSong. A program change already works. What I haven't found yet is the possibility to control the tempo from OnSong.
Okay, yeah, so I'm just going to kind of like overview this real quick. First of all, let's just take a moment to be amazed that you're controlling a MIDI device on stage, probably wirelessly, with your phone. I mean, that's just, I don't know, it just dawned on me, like, look, it wasn't that long ago that wasn't even a possibility, so I think that's really cool. We get these questions a lot, hey, I got this specific MIDI device, how do I configure OnSong with it? And usually what I do is I'll, search the user manual, look up the user manual for the device, because as much as I would love to have, be surrounded by MIDI devices that I can play with, and I do like some keyboards, like Nord. Yamahas, and stuff like that.
Nordy.
But we can't afford to buy everything because
Can't.
No, and we don't have enough room for it. I mean, have you seen my garage?
I have.
Yeah, it's a hazard. Okay, so what I usually do is look it up. But with MIDI tempo and MIDI devices is always kind of strange, because every device seems to do it differently, and MIDI doesn't have really a good way of doing it. The way MIDI usually handles that is with something called MIDI clock, which OnSong does support. So I'll go over MIDI clock real quick. We don't have any MIDI devices set up for a demo, but I think hopefully you'll understand at least how to set it up. And OnSong, what it does is if you turn on MIDI clock, whenever you set a tempo in OnSong, it automatically adjusts the MIDI clock as you flip through your song. So if, let's say, you're on a song that's 64 BPM and you go to another song that's like 84 BPM, it'll automatically adjust the MIDI clock, and any MIDI device that is using that will follow suit. Now, the problem with MIDI clock is it sends a signal at 24 times every quarter note, okay, which is really fast. It's not terribly fast, but the problem is if you're using any wireless MIDI, there's going to be latency involved, and so your tempo is not going to be spot on. So if you are using MIDI clock, you do have to use a wired MIDI connection just to get rid of that latency and have a decent clock. The other thing that OnSong can do is it can send tempo using control changes. The problem there is not every device understands that. But we'll go over that as well. And the last thing that we have, which if you're using a guitar pedal specifically, they tend to understand tap for tempo, right? So if you're using a guitar pedal and you want to set the tempo so that the delay matches the tempo, you might have a button that's just tap tempo or something, and you just tap on it. to the beat, and then the pedal automatically figures out the tempo based on how quickly your foot's going. And so OnSong also has that. So let's dig in real quick. I'm going to go into my utilities menu again. Again, that gear icon in the upper right corner. I'm going to go to settings here, and then go to MIDI settings right here. And I mean, first of all, you have to have MIDI enabled, right? So all current versions of OnSong have MIDI enabled if you've purchased it within the last, I don't know, couple years. And then you obviously have to have your device connected via MIDI to your iPad. It seems like you already have that. We're not going to get into that today because that'll take an hour. And then if we go down here to sync, we could turn on MIDI clock, okay? And just turning on MIDI clock will automatically start sending that MIDI clock. So I would definitely check out your user manual for your MIDI device and see if MIDI clock is being used. If so, turn this on, and then OnSong will automatically send the MIDI clock signals, which your pedal or device should pick up. Now there's this clock adjustment here. Again, this is kind of built in to manage when the latency is messing things up, but hopefully you don't need to change any of that. So if, let's say, MIDI clock doesn't work, which could happen, you have two other options down here. You got tempo and you have tap. Tempo will send the tempo as a control change. Now, will it work with your device? Don't know. We have OnSong set up the way that the Beat Buddy works, which uses control change 106 and 107. Again, this is not in the MIDI standard, but Beat Buddy decided, hey, let's use 106 and 107. The reason we got to use two is because you might set the tempo to something like 20, but you might also set the tempo to something like 220. And MIDI can only send up to 128 different options per control change. So it's like 0 through 127. So we have to use two control changes. The first one basically, how does this work again? Yeah, the first one is either on or off basically. So, let's say it's 0 and the second one is 20, then you're sending BPM is 20. If the first one is 1, then you're automatically setting it to 127, and then we're adding the second number to it. Again, you might not need to know this. You just need to know how your device is set up. But anyway, set it to the channel because it's off by default. You got to set it to the channel of your device or all channels, depending on where you want to send this control change to. And if your user manual says, hey, we're listening for tempo using this method on different control changes, well, you can edit that right here by tapping on that wrench icon in the lower right corner. So you can change what control changes is used. Now, OnSong will just do this in pairs. So if you need to send it on 106 and 107 and 108, 109, you can add those in as well. The last one is tap, and tap literally just sends a signal every quarter note, right? Every downbeat is every beat of a metronome. And so you can also configure that to tell it what control change to send and what value to send. So here we'll send it on control change 105, and we're going to send the value 127, which is like turn it on, and you can choose what channel to send that on. That's off by default. But those give you 3 different ways that you could possibly set tempo using OnSong. And again, it's going to send that information. You could have them all on if you wanted to, but that's a lot of MIDI flying around. Not that that's a problem, but it all depends on your pedal, right, and what it's able to do. Hey, we got another question over here for YouTube.
Go ahead.
There we go. I can't say the name because it's all Greek to me. It's all Greek to me. How to sync song base between iPhone and iPad. What to do set list on iPhone and then open it on iPad. Unfortunately, the only way we have right now, and again, I wish I could pronounce your name, but if you're watching YouTube live, I'm sure it shows up. We'll call you A. So, you can synchronize between the two using a synchronize function, which I'll show you real quick in OnSong. But it doesn't work automatically, and it's not great, and I will be the first to admit that. OnSong was created before iCloud was even a glimmer in Steve Jobs' eye. And so we kind of chose a database technology, which is great. It gives us lots of flexibility, but it is not a platform for synchronizing with iCloud. And then the other issue that most people have is they want to share with their team and everything. And so we have some big plans coming. We got a lot of work to do. We're also working to grow, as we said, we have a new office. But one of the things we do want to do is a cloud sync for Teams as well. So hopefully that'll be coming. Oh, we have a English transliteration here. Andrew. Yeah, that's cool. That's a cool name.
Hello.
Hello. So Andrew, what you can do, first of all, you can always back up and restore between your devices. That's going to copy all your settings and everything back and forth between your devices. And we do have a video on that. I think if you just go to our video tutorials on our website and look up transfer, the word transfer, we have one on transferring with Dropbox, which I think we just updated. So it's fairly up to speed, I think. And then we have transferring with iTunes file sharing, which I think is fairly modern. Maybe we have to update it a little bit. But one thing you can also do is if you go into the songs menu here, just tap on the plus button down the lower right. And this is not an intuitive place to put it. And then you can have synchronize, under the synchronize option, you can synchronize with Dropbox. Now what that's going to do is that will upload not only your songs that you have imported, all your external files, but it'll also synchronize your database, and that's what OnSong uses to store all your stuff, all your sets, all your books and everything. But it won't synchronize your settings, it just synchronizes the content. And then of course, once you're done on one device, you can then do it on another device, and OnSong will bring that content back over. OnSong does use timestamps to figure out if something has changed, and occasionally, a file might get tweaked, and because of time differences on different devices, it might not find that update right away. But I think we give it some grace period, like 5 seconds or 30 seconds or something like that. Anyway, take a look at Synchronize, and again, we do have some stuff coming up in the future that will make this what we feel should be painless. Not for me, but painless for you. It'll probably be painful for me. Very painful. Very painful. Oh, while we're waiting for some more questions. Oh, you're from Russia. I'm so sorry. You're right. That is Russian, not Greek. We have been working.
That's a big difference.
A big difference. Well, I know it's kind of north. It's north, but we have been working on a Greek library earlier today because one of the things that is coming up with the new version of OnSong is better searching, especially with case sensitivity and accented characters. And so we were actually working on a Russian database, and we were also Dakota's like, hey, but it doesn't work with Greek, and so my international characters are all mixed up, so I do apologize. But hey, thanks for joining us from Russia. That's awesome.
All right.
Oh yeah, I wanted to say one more thing.
Yes.
So we're probably going to be making another iTunes file transfer video. And the reason is something that Apple just announced at WWDC on Monday is that they're going to be taking iTunes and splitting it up into multiple apps. And this is kind of freaking out some people because they're thinking, what happens to all the stuff I bought on iTunes? What's going to happen? And so I just wanted to tell you right off, basically all they're doing is they're getting rid of the iTunes app and making multiple apps. But the way you're still going to be able to buy tracks, you're still going to be able to play your videos, all that stuff. It's just going to take Mac OS and make it very similar to the way an iPhone or iPad works with your media files. So, and OnSong, we don't expect there to be any changes there in how it works, as linking backing tracks and stuff like that. But we're definitely keeping our eyes on any changes that Apple is doing. We have a lot of cool stuff that we want to add. But we are also going to do that cautiously just to make sure that you have the best experience live.
Okay, Steve, can you use OnSong with a pedal or trigger pads?
You bet. Yes, you can. So so they said trigger pads.
Pads.
Imagining what you mean is like a MIDI pad in a drum kit. So you're probably trying to get your drummer to do all the work. No, just kidding. Dakota's a drummer. I drum. Veronica. We have a lot of drummers in-house at OnSong. So you can use a foot pedal or you can use a MIDI device. And so it's kind of up to you. So I'm going to show you both ways. If I tap on this pedal-looking icon in the upper left corner, that's going to open up our Actions menu. And so the first tab here is pedals. You can see that highlighted down below. And then you can pick what foot pedal you have. OnSong supports a whole lot, and in fact, one of the things we really want to do is reorganize this screen, but we just love how visual it is, so we're trying to figure out how to do it in a way that keeps that, but allows you to flip between different pedal options. But you can flip between the PED, the S2, the S4, the S6, the AirTurn Duo, the Quad, the Stomp 6. We got some handheld devices here. Here are flicks, and flicks are little buttons that you can stick on things, and so if you're a guitarist that doesn't mind sticking stuff to their guitar, you can control OnSong using those. And by the way, one thing with flicks, they're coming out with a new one, but I didn't know this, but instead they don't use adhesive on the back of a flick. They're actually micro suction cups or something like that. So they actually don't leave any residue. They'll stick on something and peel right off.
I found them on keyboards.
Yeah, no problem?
No problem.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool, I think. The iRig Blue Turn, the Page Flip products, the Stomp Box, which nobody ever uses. And then you can also, I say that because that was gone long ago. So anyway, and you can also make your own foot pedals as well. So basically all you have to do is pick what product you want. Let's say you're using a AirTurn S2, and then you can either connect the pedal using the Bluetooth screen in settings, and that's going to put your pedal it kind of treats your pedal like a computer keyboard. You'll have problems with like the keyboard not coming up on your iPad and stuff like that. Or you can connect to it directly by tapping on this little 3 dots in the upper right corner. You can use something called App Direct Mode, and that's going to actually connect your pedal directly to OnSong. And then you don't have to worry about it being a computer keyboard. And the other cool thing with that is you can connect like 16 of these things to your device if you wanted, or 16 Bluetooth LE devices at once. And I should say you can actually connect more, but only that many will communicate at once or something like that. It's ridiculous what these things are capable of. But you said trigger pads, and so you might be interested in MIDI instead. So if I tap on the MIDI tab down there right next to pedals, we can set up something called MIDI triggers. What are MIDI triggers? Well, MIDI triggers will take incoming MIDI and tell OnSong to perform an action. Okay, so for instance, you might have a pad that has different notes, because drum triggers probably send MIDI note events. So I can come up here and pick, add a new one, and instead of control, I can pick a note, and I can say, well, I want to listen on a specific channel. Let's say we have our drum pad on channel 1, and then I could listen to, I don't know, let's just, for simplicity, note 0. Maybe that's the kick drum. And then just hit done, and now that's going to put that in my MIDI triggers list. And then all I have to do is tap and pick what action in OnSong I want it to perform. And we got like, what does it say, 118 actions? 118 actions, not confusing at all. But we do have it in a nice, neat, organized fashion. So if you wanted to, let's say, go to the next song, because you want your drummer to do that because they're not busy enough, and they keep talking when they shouldn't and things like that. You just open up the song section here and just tap next. So now when that MIDI note is received on that channel by OnSong, it will perform the next song action. So you'll go to the next song in your set. The other thing you could do, which says down here, is you can play a note, adjust control, or press a pedal. So OnSong is actually at this point listening for MIDI input. So you could just, if you have your drum pad already hooked up to your iPad, you can just hit the pad and it'll show up in the list. You hit the same pad again and it'll go to the select an action step. And that's all you have to do. And the other cool thing with like MIDI, like trigger pads and stuff like that, is there is no latency. I mean, the only latency you're going to have is whatever MIDI, whatever transport you're using to get the MIDI from there to here. So that's really great, because you can also set like a tap tempo action, and it's going to be accurate, where regular foot pedals have some latency. Just keep that in mind.
All right, Scott, any recommendations for turn pedals?
For turn pedals, for just page turning?
It appears.
Yeah, so OnSong supports a lot. We've done a lot of work with AirTurn products. They're based in the U.S. They're built in the U.S. They're supported in the U.S., so we're U.S., so we kind of, we like those guys. And they have a lot of great pedal options. I think they start now at, it's pretty low.
69?
$69. Well, they probably, yeah, you could probably get an AirTurn pedal for $50. That's older, maybe slightly older. But their new product line, which is the S series, starts at 69. I think it's like 69, 89, 99 or something like that. 59. I don't know. They're really cheap. And so if you came in here to that same screen and go to pedals, right here we have the AirTurn BT200 S2. And then you just tap the buy button right there, and it's going to take you to AirTurn's site. There we go. Then we can actually see what it costs. Let's hit the buy now button just to find out, because I kind of forgot. I kind of think it might be 59. Is it 59? Let's find out. Drum roll, please.
69.
Where does it say? Oh yeah, 69. You're right. Oh, you're right. You're right. Yeah. So you can. So you can check out the pricing there with those. But the S2 line of products are really great. We're going to be adding another foot pedal in here, hopefully with the next. Well, actually with the next update. But there's so many pedals out there, and that's one of the problems with this screen is it's just getting massive. So yeah, but AirTurn S pedals series that we like. Yeah.
AirTurn. All right, Brenda. Recently, on several of my lyric/chord charts, extensive copyright information is posted on the bottom of the page, and it is hard to print them off. It takes several pages to do so. How can I get rid of that?
Well, I would say there is, I don't know where you're getting your charts from. I mean, that is a question. Depends on where you're getting your charts from. But OnSong does have a copyright tag that authors or content providers can specify who owns the copyright on that work, and then we do automatically print that, basically because you have to, I mean, legally. So that is turned on by default. If we go in, let's go into our print screen. So we do that by tapping on the share button up here in the menu bar, tap on print. And then here we have a printout. Let's see if there's some copyright information in here. Yeah, so there you go. We got copyright Modern Dance Hall. This is by Natalia. Natalia, yeah. Anyway, so if I tap on the ruler icon over here in the lower right, we can see what we can turn on and off. But I think copyright is always added, guys. I think just legally we have to have that in there. You could try clearing it. If you have edit permissions on your chart, you can come into the song editor, the pencil icon, and if there is a copyright line, I mean, you could delete that. But again, I think legally, if there is a copyright and you are printing it, that's kind of the idea behind copyright. You got to at least know whose it was, so we're not making copies of stuff and like losing that information. And so now, if we just make copyright blank, it disappears. And then, of course, I keep pushing the wrong button. There we go, print. And that would remove it. Or, you could also change that copyright information, too, if it's just like really, really long. Just sometimes content providers will put in the administration, the next of kin. I don't know. They put, there's like 8 different pieces of information on there. And so... you can maybe just trim it down, but definitely make sure that what you're doing is legal, because you don't want to get dinged for that. Okay. Hey, wait. I think we have a question from Andrew. Okay, here we go. One more question. When will be discounted price?
In Russia?
Good question. In Russia. I don't know about Russia. No, just kidding. We don't know. We haven't done a discount in a while. Sometimes we'll do that around the 4th of July, which is America's birthday.
Or Black Friday.
Or Black Friday, or things like that. We are doing some things that will hopefully make things more affordable in the future, but we don't have anything at this point. So I would say hang tight right now. But if you know what, I'll tell you what, if you do have somebody that's like, man, I would really love to use OnSong, but it's kind of expensive, because I think that's one issue with different countries is, the dollar here is like it's more expensive in other countries, right? And so one of the things we're working on is to address that. Right now, we only have the ability to set one price, and that's set worldwide. And with exchange rates and how much different currencies are worth, sometimes it's very expensive in other countries. So we're actually doing something to allow us to do different pricing in different countries. which we would probably lower the price in some areas because of those particular issues. So we're still working on that.
Yeah, and also, if you have a whole bunch of people that you're working with OnSong, or you will work with OnSong musician-wise, give us an email and tell you what country you're from, and we will work with you somehow to do that if it's out of some price range. But if there's multiple people that are going to use it, let us know, and we'll work with you somehow, some way.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we want everybody to have OnSong,
Yeah.
and we're just trying to figure out how to do it the best way. So.
And there's a lot of different things with different countries, so we understand that.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, here we go. Barney.
Barney.
Good morning from LA.
Hey.
It is 9:10 in LA.
I bet you it's nice outside too.
Yes. Can you select which fields are included? They don't have fields in LA. It's just cement barriers.
No, when I went to San Jose, we drove down
San
along
Jose.
the first the Highway 1.
Yes.
We went to you went to the 17-mile drive.
That was beautiful.
And it was like strawberry fields forever. I mean,
cypress trees.
It was like, people picking strawberries. Oh, that would be terrible.
But this is LA.
Oh, LA.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Can you select which fields are included in a song list? ? Our band would prefer to see song title, duration, key, and tempo. Don't need to see artist.
Yeah. So if you're printing the list, you can. If you are exporting as an HTML song list, no. But I'll show you the print option because that gives you the most options you can do. So again, we're going to go to that share menu up here, go to print, okay? Now right now, well, let's just see what happens here. I'm looking at my song chart. If I tap on this icon in the lower left, you see that it looks like some pages over there. We'll switch to a song list mode. And by default, we have title, artist, and tempo. We don't want that. Let's say we want something different here. I'm going to tap on the ruler icon to configure my printout. Now, first of all, this is only showing a set. I only have one song on my set. It's kind of boring. But I can tap on the book and see all the songs by this artist for her album, Badder Than You. And I don't know how bad you are, but this is Badder Than You. And and then, you have some options here, like you can include page numbers if you have multiple pages. But down below, we got extras. And so you can just toggle artist off. And what do you say? You want a key, tempo, time signature? What do you want?
Key, tempo, time duration, and song title.
There you go. So we just did that, and now you have, we don't have time and duration, it looks like, on these songs. Now time, again, is time signature. Duration is how long the song is, so you'll have to figure out what you want there. But then you can print it by hitting print. Or if you want to email that to your team, you can tap on this action icon right there, and you can airdrop it to somebody. You can copy it, you can print it, but you can also just email it by hitting the email button just like that. So I can send it over here to Jeremiah. There you go, man.
Boom.
Boom. And now he's got a little thing on his screen which you can't see, and he can accept or decline that. So you can use the print screen to customize that, and when you're all done, just tap on that same button, you're back to your chord chart view. Cool.
I'm declining you, brother.
Yeah.
All right, Phoebe. Hi there. When I am playing a song, sometimes I accidentally swipe to the side instead of down, and then OnSong goes into the next song. Is there any way of locking this feature so I don't accidentally wipe to the next song? It can be annoying when I do this when playing live. Thank you.
You just had to say wipe. Jeremiah's set off easily by things like this. You gotta be if you know next time, just start typing some. Get him going, okay? But anyway, yes, you can. So OnSong by default will allow you to swipe between different songs. So I'm just moving my finger. Maybe we do the overhead view, but you can see I'm just kind of swiping to the next song. Swipe. But again, sometimes if you're like trying to swipe down and you might go on an angle, or you might do this, then you'll go to the next song. So you can actually turn that off. Let's go into settings. Maybe we'll go back to the other screen so we can see a little better. There we go. Settings, gear icon. Go into settings, and then go to navigation settings on the left-hand side. You can see there it's like second up from the bottom. And then there is a swiping. Swiper, no swiping. button here, and you could turn off swiping through the sets. Okay, so if I turn that off, then I can't swipe. You can see here, I can't do it. I can't do it. Now you might say, well, how do I get to the next set? Well, then you could just tap on the left or right side. Now you could disable that too, if you wanted and just control it with a foot pedal. That you would do through what we call the screen actions. Let's just show you that real quick. If we go to the foot pedal type icon here, and one of the reasons we changed that foot pedal icon is because we wanted to show that it wasn't just foot pedals, but it could also be screen taps or clicks or areas. So we're going to tap on screen over here, the last tab, and then if I tap on this right side area right there, you can see that we are using a default action. The default action for that screen, for that navigation area we call it, is to go to the next song. So we could just set that to none if we wanted to, and then even if we tap on that side of the screen, we can't go to the next song. Okay, so we can't swipe, we can't do that. Okay, so you could, if you only want a foot pedal to do it, you can set that up as well, and then you could only swipe up and down. Now you could also turn that off too if you wanted. You could turn all swiping off. You can turn swiping off from the side of the screen, which I don't know if many people know about that, but we could show that real quick on the overhead. But if I come from the edge of the screen and swipe over, then that will actually show my song list. And that's really handy when you're in vertical menu bar mode, because it just kind of like comes out from the side. In this mode, it just like appears like ta-da. If we go into our settings and then go to menu settings, menu bar, and then turn on vertical menu bar mode right here, boop, and then hit done. And then our whole interface is going to change. You can see now I got this menu coming out from the left side, but now this is more intuitive. It's like, hey, there I am, and you tap and you're off. You can also pin that. Remember, wrong button. I hit there we go. We can pin that off to the side, which is then going to kind of give us a split view. I might not have actually touched the pin. There we go. Gives us kind of a split view. And then we can actually, close that. We can still pull that out from the side just the same way, like that. So that's kind of a cool feature too. You can turn that off in that swiping action as well. This is really dim over here.
Very slick.
Turn that up there. Let's see. There we go. Okay. What next?
All right, Cora, I don't know that I would do anything, or what I would do without OnSong, by the way. Thanks, guys.
Oh, thank you.
All right, here's my problem, though. The song in the library, which is in alphabetical order, one below the one I actually need, always starts automatically when I press the play button, although I corrected the song at least 5 times. What can I do? What can I do not to always play the wrong song at the concert? Question mark.
Oh. Is she talking about backing tracks?
The song in the library, the song, is in alphabetical order, one below the one I actually need. It always starts automatically when I press the play button, although I corrected the song at least 5 times.
I don't know. I would say, well, first of all, make sure that you have an updated version of iOS and OnSong, because I know Apple has been kind of messing around with how audio playback works on iOS for some time now, especially with iOS 12 and AirPlay 2, and now, of course, separating out all your apps. Now, theoretically everything works, but one thing we found is that in some versions, sometimes the music player under the hood in the music app is not responsive to when we tell it to play certain tracks. And it usually has to do if you are streaming those tracks, okay? And we've had all kinds of playback issues, even on Mac OS, with some of this. And so make sure you're using the latest iOS version, which I think is like 12.3.1 right now, or 12, they might be up to 12.4 now. No, that's beta. Never mind. I just got a thing for 12.4 beta. But make sure you're using the latest version of iOS and OnSong. The other thing you want to do is make sure that your tracks are downloaded to your device, because OnSong now by default will play the tracks using OnSong's media player. Okay, and that resolves a lot of issues that have to do with the music app, if there's any bugs in the music app. But if you didn't download those tracks to your device, they're streaming, and that's usually where we run into some issues with Apple. So let's go out of here to our music app. Okay, looks like the iTunes button. And so here we have some tracks, and I don't know, these might already be downloaded. I don't think I have anything in the cloud up here, but generally, like if you had a track that wasn't on your device, a little download cloud icon would show up, and you just need to download that to your device, because if you don't do that, OnSong is not able to play it using its own player, and then we're kind of relying on remote controlling that music app, and that has had some bugs in previous iOS, I think 12 versions, so definitely make sure you update those. And if you're still having problems, please let us know. Our support team is standing by, quite literally. Well, they might be out to lunch right now. No, they're out to lunch. Yeah, sorry. They're getting us lunch, which is very nice. But you can contact us. Just go to onsongapp.com/support. That gives you a whole lot of ways that you can contact us. One of the things I would love to see, though, because sometimes if you're using iTunes, or I'm sorry, like the music app, we don't have the music that you have, and so it's hard for us to try to figure out what's going on. But maybe just a screenshot of your iTunes sometimes, or your music app helps as well. So,
Scott, do you have any OnSong swag, hats, T-shirts, and how do I get them in Canada? We actually sell them.
We do.
Well, it's just so hard to get to Canada because it's so much money to ship it. So
yeah, but we have a catapult, and we can just drive up to Niagara Falls and just.
Well, we'll look into that. But the hats are 15, and the shirts are 10, and obviously we ship in the United States, but we need to find a way that's cost-effective to do it in Canada. So, Scott, let us know what you want, and we can work something out, hats and T-shirt wise. We just know it's almost, double the cost of the shirt to send it to you, which is so stupid. If you know of anybody that's coming from America to you to visit, and they can put it in their suitcase, we can work out a way that way. But just know we do have stuff. We just want to make it cost effective and not charge an arm and a leg for shipping.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the deal with that.
Yeah, my brother-in-law lives up by Thousand Islands region, and we took some tours up there, and you learn about the bootlegging during the Prohibition and everything. But in the wintertime, it freezes. We could just kind of walk.
Slide it your way.
Slide it. Snowmobile, middle of the night.
You can. I'm trying to get south. Steen, hello. Why is it that many times when I swipe to a next song, all the text got big, and it does not swipe, and it is not easy to get the text normal again, especially when I am playing?
Yeah. So you might have enabled a viewport or set a viewport on your song, and so let me quick turn off, kind of get back to where we were here with our menu bar modes and all this stuff. I'm just going to turn that off real quick just so we can talk around that. Here we go. So let's say you go to the next song and you're saying that I turned swiping off too. Swiper, no swiping. So I'm just going to reset my settings so I'm back to where I was. Okay, there we go. Reset setting. There we go. Now I can swipe. So what you can do in OnSong is you can. I reset settings. Hold on, everybody. Hold on.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, reset settings clears out all the changes we made, and one of the changes is that we turned on screen mirroring mode. So let me reboot OnSong so we get that back. Here we go. All right, we're back. We're back, folks. Okay, so what were we talking about? Oh yeah, so set viewport. Let me do that. So let's say we go to the next song. Sometimes what you can do is you can make that bigger by pinching. Obviously, let's say we just want to fill the screen with verse 1 and the chorus, and then you could tap on the sticky note icon and set a viewport. And what that's going to do is next time that I open that song, see how right there it kind of was moving my song around, but if next time I go to that song, it's going to zoom in on that particular piece and make that font bigger. But then when you're in that mode, you're kind of you can zoom around because the song's a certain size or whatever. So probably the best thing you can do is when you're in that mode is tap on the left or right side of the screen and use those hot corners or use a foot pedal, because you are going to be kind of zooming around and makes it a little bit harder. But if you do just swipe to the edge, it'll go to the next song. So I would say if you have a viewport, what you can do is just kind of like zoom out and then double tap somewhere, and that will take you to like 100% zoom factor, and then go up to your sticky note icon again and hit set viewport, and that will clear the viewport, and you won't have that issue.
All right, 2 more questions. Here we go. Dean, why or when my band moves songs around on their set list, how do you move songs around on OnSong?
Yeah, well, I think maybe what they're asking is if you're in all songs, maybe instead of OnSong, all songs, or a book. Yeah, we don't have the ability to organize, or I wouldn't say organize, but change the order of songs in books or in all songs. Because, well, you'd probably be there all day doing it. Instead, we do rely on just regular sorting, because books are meant to help you organize your repertoire, and sets are how you organize putting songs in a specific order for playing at a venue or an event. And so you only can change the order of sets at this point. So make sure that you're using books properly and sets properly. That's kind of the reason behind those two metaphors. But you can, I would say, go to our videos tutorial page and look up the books and sets video tutorial. There's 2 different video tutorials, and they'll tell you, kind of why you would use books versus sets. But hopefully that helps answer some questions. If not, let us know.
Okay, last question for the day, we believe. Joshua, when leading worship, it's really necessary to be able to jump around. From chorus to verse to bridge to be spontaneous. Yeah. Boy, that would be. Yeah. Until you come up with 2 column support, which would solve this because you could see the entire song without the need to scroll. Is there a way to easily hop from place to place on the fly as you're leading? That's a lot of calisthenics when you're leading worship.
Yeah, yeah. So, dual column support is also on the top of our list. We are trying to wrap up another iteration here of OnSong, which will help us get to a lot of these things. Something to keep in mind is, we got a lot of users who want a lot of things. Some of our users got OnSong for free. Some of them got it for $5. So we are looking at how to grow the company moving forward. So hopefully that'll allow us to get to some of these bigger things. And one of those is rewriting our rendering engine to allow for column support and other formatting craziness that might happen as well. But one thing that's cool is if you have a foot pedal, something like a Stomp, so they call it was the Stomp 6, it's now the S6. The S6 has 6 switches, and what's really cool with that, let me just bring this up real quick, is if we come in here to the S6 like that, people say all the time, well, why do I need 6 buttons? What could I ever do 6 buttons for? Because, most foot pedals just page turn or they scroll the song up and down. But one thing you could do with this pedal is you can come into the pedal 1, let's say, and instead of scrolling or anything, you can come here to the section option under the navigation section, and you could hit switch. And what you could do is say, hey, button 1, I want that to go to the intro, and maybe button 2 goes to the verse.
Sorry.
And button 3 goes to the chorus. I'm just going to set this all up real quick here. And button 4 goes to the bridge. Yeah, there we go. Well, anyway, and let's say button 6 goes to the end. Oh, I did tag. Tag curate. All right. Now, we don't have the S6 actually set up. But what's really cool with this is now if I just press the second button on my 6-pedal foot switch, it's going to automatically select verse 1, which I don't have anything assigned to, and then scroll that into view. If I hit the chorus button, well, it's going to scroll the chorus into view. If I hit the second button again, which switches to a verse, it's going to go to the next verse after the one that was previously selected, and so on. And so you could just easily, as you're leading, if you wanted to go to the bridge, bam, hit the bridge button, and then everybody follows suit and goes to the bridge. If you hit the intro button again, because maybe you're playing the intro again for the ending, just hit the first switch and you'll go right, zoom right up to the intro, And the other cool thing with that is it selects that, actually hard selects it. So if you're doing lyrics projection, well, that will automatically be projected on lyrics projection. If you have any MIDI or scenes associated with that section, that will automatically send. So that's another way of handling that.
All right, we did it.
Woo, we did it, yeah.
YouTube maiden voyage.
It actually worked really smooth. We were really,
Yeah.
It was like a talk show there.
Tremendous,
for a little bit,
tremendous.
Forth,
We had a lot of people watching YouTube and Facebook, and again, hey, we're doing this every other week, so we will be back on 2 weeks from today, from 11:30 to 12:30 Eastern Standard Time. So any new users or anybody that's just now hopping on to follow us on YouTube or Facebook, we'll do this every 2 weeks. So 2 weeks from now, we'll be back on Facebook Live and YouTube. 11:30, 12:30 Eastern Standard Time. Join us, and you can also watch it, obviously, throughout the week or whenever you need to
Take a nap.
or watch something and learn about how to do your music better and how to be more efficient on OnSong. So thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks for following us. Thanks for using OnSong, and let us know if we can help you in any way, especially with questions and stuff like that throughout the week. So have a great week, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Catch you later.
See you.